We wrap ourselves in all different kinds of fabrics, from what our clothes are made out of to the furniture we sit on. Fabric is all around us, and all different kinds of fabrics have different names that I'm sure you are familiar with. My name is Patrick, and this is 5 Fabric Names Explained. First off, we have velvet. Velvet is seen as something of a luxurious fabric, thanks to how soft and smooth it all is. I don't know what these weird hand gestures I'm doing. I'm definitely not wearing velvet right now. I'm just imagining I'm wearing velvet, I suppose. But anyway, its origins go as far back as the 8th century AD. Despite being linked with all things soft and smooth, the origin of the word velvet is actually a little bit more shaggy, shall we say. It's believed to derive from the Latin word of villus, which means things like tuft of hair, and quite literally just means shaggy too. Eventually, this word got linked with this specific kind of fabric, which is far from shaggy, shall we say. Don't know what that was all about, but improv. What's also interesting about the word velvet is that despite being mainly linked with the fabric, we've gone on to use it as an adjective with the word velvety. Things we describe as being velvety can range from tasty foods to smooth, sexy voices. I was trying to do a velvety voice there, but it just came off as a bit creepy. Next up, we have linen. This is a fabric very much linked with all things natural, used to make nice, loose-fitting clothes. There's a reason, however, why it's linked with nature. That's because this fabric derives from the very natural source of flax. Flax is a kind of flowering plant that has all kinds of uses. One of those uses being the fact it is used to make linen. In fact, the name of linen actually comes from this flax fact. That's fun to say. I'm going to try and say that more often. I'm just going to change this whole channel to flax fact. It's going to be just dedicated to flax. But I've forgotten how to say it now. Anyway, flax and linen don't sound particularly similar, but the Old English name for flax, lin, is much more similar to say the least. And it's from this Old English name of flax as to where the name of linen actually derives from. Now, before we continue, I want to say a huge thank you to my most recent patrons and super thanks leavers. So a huge thank you to new patron Carsten Warso and super thanks leaver Hogtownboy1. Patron is the best way to financially support Name Explained, and donating just $1 a month gets you ad-free videos, a chance to say what name get explained, an exclusive monthly newsletter, and your name at the end of these videos. All of that can be found at patreon.com/nameexplained, which will be linked down below. Conversely, if you want to just make a one-time donation, you can leave a super thanks directly in the comments section of any of my videos here on YouTube. They help out tremendously too. Thank you. Anyway, carrying on, we have the fabric of silk. Silk is made by worms. I genuinely don't think enough people talk about just how crazy that is. Like, we use the stuff a bug makes to cocoon itself to make nice clothes for ourselves. It's actually insane. Let's celebrate silk more, I guess. But that's a bit of a tangent. And silk, unfortunately, isn't named in honor of the bugs who make it, which really isn't fair in my eyes. I mean, they're called silkworms, but they're named after the produce. The silk isn't named after them, just for you all to know that. It's not named in that way. Huge tangent. Instead, it is thought to be named after the group of people who produced it. Human silk production kicked off in Asia, and some of the first Europeans to receive silk from Asia were the Greeks. These Greek people named this fabric Seleucos, meaning from the Ceres. Who the Ceres were, we aren't too sure, but they are believed to have been an ethnic group from northern China. Whatever the case, silk is most likely named after them, and not the bugs who it deserves to be named after. We should just call them worms and call the fabric worms. I like your nice worm shirt. Thank you. Yeah, worm. It's costs a bit of money, but I love that worm. Like, that's just my idea anyway. Continuing on, we have corduroy. Corduroy is this really thick, textured fabric. These days is mainly made into trousers and jackets worn by old professors who smoke pipes. You know the kind. There's a folk etymology that corduroy comes from French and means the cord of the king, literally the col du roi. And while this is fun and fits with the French word ouvroy, as I just butchered that pronunciation and accent. This king etymology just isn't true. It's completely made up. Sorry about that. Corduroy is seemingly an English invention. The cord part simply means cord, like a wire or thread or string or something. I imagine this relates to the lined texture that runs down corduroy, as they do look like little cords. The latter part of the name comes from an older, now unused fabric that was just called duroy. How this older fabric got its name, we seemingly have no idea, but evidently when this new corded duroy was created, they were like, oh yeah, just call it corduroy, and that's how we got that name. Finally, let's talk about polyester. This is a really artificial fabric. Many modern clothes are made out of it, as it's easier and cheaper to produce than normal fabrics. This is like a man-made fabric, and the name relates much more to the world of science than any of the previous fabrics we've discussed in this video so far. The latter part of the name, the ester part, is a common word forming element in science for chemical compounds, which polyester evidently is. The first part of the name comes from the term polymer, meaning many different parts. This is because polyester is made from all kinds of things. Poly unto itself means multiple / many in general, like how the term polymath means you're skilled in many things. And that's 5 fabric names explained. Let me know about any other interesting fabric names I might have missed out on. Also, please suggest some subject areas down below, which could be covered in next Monday's 5 Names Explained video. It could be about literally anything, and the subject area can be niche or broad, any way you like it really. I will then choose 3 of those subject areas and place them in a poll for my patrons to vote on. Then the winner from that poll will be the subject area covered in the next 5 Names Explained video. You can vote in that poll as well as enjoy many other great benefits by visiting patreon.com/nameexplain, which will be linked down below, and by donating just $1 a month. Thank you. Anyway, that's more than enough for myself. Don't forget to go follow me on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT, and don't forget to go join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain, where you can chat with myself and many other name nerds. Okay all, take care. Should we do this? I'm kind of in a rush, Amber, so don't know how many outtakes there are going to be. Let's just do it. I'm sure I'll f*** at some point. The specific kind of fabric, which is again, is despite being mainly linked with the fabric, we've gone to this isn't going well. Anyway, flax. Oh, that's weird. Like the stuff we. Continuing on, that's a weird one, as it's easier and cheaper, not bad, than any of the previous fabrics we've just. Last word I got wrong. The other interesting fabric names I might have missed out on. Sorry, I got on text just as I was going through. That really killed my vibe. Sorry, a weird sound just happened. Don't forget to go follow me on Instagram where I'm NameExplain. I said a weird sound was happening. I didn't check my hair during that video, Amber. I'm just going to presume it looked luscious and glorious. Yeah?